Welcome back to The Observable Unknown. For today's mailbag installment, a listener has written in, Dear Dr. Ray, I recently started to come to a realization that my family is much, much more dangerous than I thought they were. Lots of families have suicide and alcoholism and kidnapping in them, but I think maybe I've been ignorant to seeing how wrong those things were in my own family. The saddest part is that someone very dear to me once tried to bring this to my attention, a member of my own family, and I saw to it that she was ostracized and exiled because I couldn't stand the idea of what my life was being pulled apart at the seams. I asked her about whether or not she thought one of my suspicions was accurate about my own daughter being treated inappropriately, and I guess I just couldn't stand to hear the insight I asked for, as it was being presented at that time. Since then, I've reflected back on how, when I was very young, everyone in my family told me that I used to have little fits where I would talk about a certain villain from Elm Street taking his pants off. Then it got me to thinking about how my father's face had a lot of pockmarks and a lot of disturbing scars. Now I wonder if I've been living under a lie and trying to preserve that lie and further fractured my family through my ignorance and my unwillingness to see the truth for what it was. What do I do next? How do I save my own children? How do I save myself? Yours truly, Opal L. Dear Opal, there are families organized around love. There are families organized around survival. And then there are families organized around silence. Those aren't the same thing. What you're describing isn't merely dysfunction. It's the gradual realization that an entire system may have been constructed around protecting what couldn't be acknowledged. Not healed, not confronted, but protected. That distinction changes everything, because once a family becomes organized around silence, perception itself becomes dangerous. The one who notices too much becomes the threat. The individual who asks the wrong question becomes unstable. The family member who names the fracture becomes the fracture. And systems built this way defend themselves viciously. You described helping exile someone who tried to bring truth into the open. You're carrying guilt for that now. Good. Not because guilt is noble, but because guilt means perception has begun returning. A conscience waking up after long accommodation feels terrible at first. That pain isn't evidence you're evil, it's evidence that numbness is weakening. Now we need to move carefully, because there's danger in the opposite direction too. Once people begin suspecting hidden abuse, memory can become unstable terrain. Patterns emerge, symbols connect, old fragments begin reorganizing themselves into narrative. Some of those connections may be accurate, some may not. And if you move too quickly toward certainty, you risk replacing one distortion with another. You mentioned the childhood references to the villain from Elm Street. You mentioned your father's scars. You mentioned fears surrounding your daughter. None of these things should be dismissed casually, but neither should they be treated as courtroom proof in isolation. Trauma rarely returns as clean chronology. It returns as fragments. Sensations, images, avoidances, emotional weather, sudden recognitions without full context. This is why people become vulnerable to both denial and overconstruction. The nervous system wants completion. It wants the story to close. But your task now isn't closure, it's protection. That changes the priority entirely. You asked, how do I save my children? First, you stop protecting appearances over perception. Immediately. No family reputation, no loyalty structure, no inherited obligation outranks the safety of a child. None. You begin observing behavior rather than defending narratives. Who becomes angry when questions are asked? Who minimizes concern automatically? Who requires silence to maintain stability? Who treats discomfort as betrayal? Those patterns matter. You don't interrogate your children in panic. You create conditions of safety. Calm, consistency, non-coercive listening. Children reveal truth more reliably in environments that don't demand performance. You seek professional support, not because you're weak, because systems this layered can't be navigated cleanly from inside themselves. You need external structure, a trauma-informed therapist, possibly family systems work, possibly legal intervention, if active danger becomes clear. But you don't do this alone inside your own recursive thinking. That becomes dangerous very quickly. In my book, The Cost of the Move, I write about what happens when people preserve structures long after evidence of damage becomes undeniable. not because they're foolish, because dismantling the structure threatens identity itself. If the family was unsafe, then childhood changes meaning, memory changes meaning, protection changes meaning, love changes meaning. That is an enormous psychological cost. Many people would rather protect the illusion than survive the reconstruction. You're beginning to understand that now. And this is where the real work begins. Not accusation or vengeance, but discernment. You don't save yourself or your children through emotional certainty. You save them through disciplined perception, through refusing silence, through refusing denial, through refusing theatrical paranoia. You remain exact. You gather reality carefully enough that truth no longer depends on emotional force to sustain itself. The deepest danger in families organized around silence isn't only what happened, it's what the system trained everyone not to see. And once perception begins returning, the first responsibility is not to collapse into hysteria. It's to become capable of carrying the truth without turning away from it. If this resonated with you, point it out to others. Leave a rating or a review, not for recognition, but for signal. So, like a porch light in the dark night of the soul, it finds who it's meant to find. Until next time, remember, you don't become what you feel. You become what you return to, and what you return to returns as you.